स्मार्ट हो रहा है इंडिया, जैसे इंडिया में बना एलिस्टा स्मार्ट एलईडी टीवी विद वर्ल्ड क्लास क्लैरिटी एंड अमेजिंग फीचर्स।
Are you a cricket fan, and what's the one cricket memory you have?
Okay, so I don't think there are going to be any people who say they're not cricket fans in this country. There are some people who may know more about it, some may know less about it, but all of us are born to be cricket lovers in this country. And I'm no different. I grew up in my house with my mom watching games, and I would sit with her and like hear her screaming. So we kind of picked up that sport because of watching it with others. My cricket memory will be when I was in boarding school and we all had to pick an evening sport. This was around the time that IPL was a massive hype, and I used to watch it with all my friends. So I thought, why don't I go and ask the coach if I can pick cricket as a sport? And my good fortune was that my coach was really supportive, and he said, yeah, why not? So I was the only girl from the school who used to play cricket with the boys team, and I think training with them, even though I wasn't good at all, but still just being part of the team and getting to learn from some really experienced members of that team who who used to play on a state level. So that was I think one of my favorite memories, and sort of I think has been a huge part of why we're in WPL today.
So we have a pathbreaker, only girl and a guys team. That must have been some amazing experience.
Yeah, it was honestly back then. I think some of my friends, recently when we announced that we've acquired WPL, all of my friends who I used to play cricket with, they reached out to me and they said, we can't believe this is happening, because this was, back then I was the only girl who used to play, and because I started going in, some of the younger girls started noticing that, oh, we can pick cricket, because it's actually not something that's encouraged. It's not something that you see a lot of younger girls being encouraged to pick up as a sport, right? So you'll see them in badminton, you'll see them in basketball, you'll see them in football, but cricket is not a sport that you will see a lot of younger girls picking it up just to play, not even from a professional level. I think that's so dependent on your skill, but just as a thing that you enjoy to do. I think that the WPL seed had already been set back then for me.
When you found out through BCCI that you are going to have one team, the UP Warriorz, is a dream, is a reality now,
yeah.
What was your first reaction?
So it was, the way that I found out was very anticlimactic actually. We had heard last year sort of some rumors that at some point there's going to be a women's Premier League, and I knew that when I heard that there's a possibility, I knew that we were absolutely going to be participating in the bid. Whatever the outcome would have been, I knew that at least we wanted to put the bid in. And then very suddenly we found out in Jan that yes, this is actually happening, and we need to make a decision about it. So we were still in part of the ILT20 when we found out. So we were in the middle of another cricket league actually when the news broke, and we decided that yes, we're doing it. When we won the bid, I was actually in the middle of a meeting, and I had no idea that we'd won it, because it was sort of like a silent bid, etc. So wasn't aware of what the outcome was going to be. So I was in the middle of a meeting and I got a message saying that we've got it, and I had to keep a poker face, and I couldn't really celebrate because all the members of the management were scattered all across when we first found out. So actually we're still due to celebrate the fact that we've got this team in the league.
From having a franchise to then the auction, it must have been a different experience, especially the auction experience. So how was that experience for you?
Actually, this is a very good question for the analysts on our team. How was the experience for them? Because as owners, I feel like we completely disrupt the process for everyone else who's on the team, who has been working day and night to get us the perfect squad. So I think this is a better question for them. But as someone for whom this is the first auction, it was thrilling. It was daunting. It also went by really quickly because you're so focused on the list that's in front of you, right? So you know who you're aiming for. You are trying to get them. You're trying to make sure that you are maximizing your purse. But at the same time, you're also having to do real-time strategy with the rest of your team. Not everyone's always on board. You're also having to manage like your facial expressions. You have to be really calm, collected. You can't give away if you're frustrated. You can't give away if you're excited about a certain player. You have to also look at all the other teams and sort of see, are they interested in the same player as you, and there's a lot of body language reading. So it was a lot for someone who was part of the auction for the first time, because as someone who has watched the IPL auction before, that's a completely different experience, right? So from an audience perspective, it's so exciting. But being on that hot seat, it was exciting, but it also had its moments where it was pretty scary.
You know, you had to build the team from scratch, this particular team. So what were the challenges for doing that work?
I think we're really lucky that we have a superb in-house team that understands cricket from a foundational level, right? So you have the management perspective, which of course is, they'll all talk about numbers. Then you have a team that really understands cricket and understands the sport, the nuances of it. And we've been very lucky to have a team who have guided us in this process of how do we want to do it. Something that we were thinking about as a new franchise was that we wanted a team that not only worked really well together, but was an extension of some of the values that we hold, right? So we wanted to make sure that whoever we bring into the team, whether it's from the support staff, whether it's the coaches or the mentor, the players itself, we wanted to make sure that all of them are open to coming into this with an equal perspective.
स्मार्ट हो रहा है इंडिया, जैसे इंडिया में बना है स्मार्ट LED TV with world class clarity and amazing features.